Hi, David. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, you're right. Morning, dear viewer. As you can see, we're grassless this
We
week.
are, yeah. It's
You know,
it's a
and
disaster when Chris isn't here.
you wouldn't believe the amount of technical trainings that Deb has done this morning to get us on air.
Yeah, I'm not up to the grass standard, though, am I?
Well, I was a bit concerned because I had a message saying that Pete Stone was inviting me to a meeting, and I thought,
I know, Pete Stone always muscles in on my Zoom.
wherever he is, good hello, Pete. I'm sure you're not watching in Jersey, but if you are, your legacy lives on long here in the area. Yes, so we're grassless, and Debs, it's down to you and me, which could be a disaster, or it could be absolutely stunningly brilliant.
Well, you never know. It could be. We're going bijou today, aren't we, David?
Yeah, we're going to just go for it in a big way, and there we are. So I hope you enjoyed the extra sampling of the Mel Plus show video that I did. Did you see the Mel Plus show video, Debs?
Oh, very, very professional on the hook.
Did you not think so? Oh yeah, the bald man was totally thrown by what's going on. But it was a good day.
Can't hear you at all.
I know you can now. You're back again.
That's good.
There was a message across my screen saying that my internet connection was compromised or something.
Oh right. Oh dear. That's always bad.
That means that all the kids have suddenly got up and are using the internet locally. Stretches the band, I've been told. That's a technical detail. Did you notice?
You're very on it. You're very on it.
Technical detail. Stretches the band. But there we are. I don't need much stretching. I think I've stretched enough, really. So all in all, we're well. Well, there we are. Should we have a pause and then I'll get into the reading?
Let's have a pause, yes.
Yeah. We got reading from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 16, verses 21 to 28, I think it is. Well, that's what I'm going to read anyway. From that time on, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and undergo great suffering at the hand of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, God forbid it, Lord. This must never happen to you. But he turned and said to Peter, Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block for me. You are setting your mind not on divine things, but on human things. Then Jesus told all his disciples, If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit them if they gain the whole world but forfeit their life? Or what will they give in return for their life? For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay everyone for what has been done. Truly, I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.
Thank you.
There you are. What do you make of all of that then?
Well, it's quite a tough reading, I'd say.
It is. It is. I always like that. There's a number of bits I like. Poor Peter being told off again. My great friend Peter. Get behind me, Satan. I mean, last week he was only Simon. Now he's suddenly Peter. Now he's being called Satan. I mean, I ask you, what's the man done? Give him some credit, at least.
I know. He's, a stumbling block.
I know. I mean, last week he was being given the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Now
I know. How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, I know. See, this is it. This is it. And then the bit I've preached on many times, those who want to follow me must take up their cross. If you want anyone to become my follower, let them deny themselves.
Yes.
Deny themselves, take up their cross and follow me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wonder about that bit because, well, obviously everybody knew about crucifixion, but when we read it knowing that Jesus died on the cross, and the cross is a huge symbol for us. But when you think about him saying that in that context, before all of that happened, probably really shocking. I mean, the whole of what he says is shocking. I do feel for Peter, because I guess what he was trying to be nice, trying to say, oh no, we don't want anything bad to happen to you. And
No. But he keeps on making these kind of comments, doesn't he? You know, there's always something. Yeah, he's got it, but he hasn't quite got it. Does that
no,
make sense? Yeah.
no, well, he hasn't got. No, I don't think he's got it.
You know,
And
he's almost there, but not quite.
but really, that's where we are, really, isn't it? I
Mm.
think probably often in our lives we haven't quite got it, because what he's doing seems kind, but he's on the wrong page completely.
Yeah, he is. He's still a chapter behind, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he is.
He'll get there one day, and he does. We know that. But no, it's interesting. This idea of what we need to do to be a follower of Jesus.
Mm.
And I was preaching a little bit about that last week because the reading led that way. You know, I don't understand. I don't know if those who call themselves Christians understand just exactly what it means. You know, to give up your whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Deny yourselves. I mean, denying yourself, I mean, it's very anti sort of modern way of thinking. We're meant to be kind to ourselves and all of that. And it's not that we don't believe that either, but there is something, it's quite brutal. Deny yourself,
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. And what does it mean to deny yourself? That's a real thing to think about. What
What
does
does
it
it
mean?
mean?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I know what the word deny means. You can't. You must put. You mustn't put anything. You must put anything before God.
Mm. Mm.
Even the things you like have to come second to follow God, and that's very difficult in context to say family. How do you
Yeah.
put God in front of how do you work that tension out about about putting your family second, for instance?
Yeah. I mean, it might not, I don't know. I think the thing about denying yourself is, in that context with Peter had a view on how it would be, and that nothing terrible would happen to Jesus. And later on he could see the full picture. We've seen, we know the narrative, so we're in a different position from him. That's why I think it would have been really shocking. He's probably thinking he's just being encouraging, and oh no, don't say anything like that, don't say you're going to suffer. And maybe it is about being on the same page, because life can be really brutal. But it's not a very uplifting message to give on a Sunday morning, is it?
No, I mean it is really in Matthew's narrative. It's the beginning of Jesus really telling them what's going to happen to himself. Isn't it? You've been with me. We've done all this. I've told you before, but now I'm on my way up to the final
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
And I guess for the disciples, that's the difficult thing,
Yeah.
because they, as you say, they don't want anything bad to happen. They don't want Jesus taken from them, even though he's tried to prepare them before. But that's really what he's saying. Yeah, we're getting to the end stage of what God has prepared.
Yeah. And I guess he's getting them ready for change, as
Yeah.
in, it's not always going to be like this. I'm not going to be around. I'm not going to be Jesus in human form is too much. It's a lot. And I guess really they only can know that by living their life with him and seeing it through. And I guess denying yourself is keeping your eyes open, not closing your eyes to it, but actually acknowledging these difficult things. But I don't have an easy answer. I think it's a really hard message.
It is. Oh, it is. Yeah. And then he goes on to say, for what will it profit if you gain the whole world but forfeit your life?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, what you're going to give in return for for life. It's right. It's rather a frightening message in some ways, isn't it?
Yeah. But then I guess I sometimes, you know, when people are asked if you could have anything in life, what would you have? And usually people, they don't look big, do they? They kind of want comfort or, you know, but when it comes down to when people have had a really tough time or something difficult's happening to them or someone they love, the really small things become the most important, like even just keeping going, you know, being able to keep going. And I guess really what he's saying is the journey ahead is going to be tough, but you've got to keep coming with me. And you can't make it all right. It is going to be gruesome, but it is all going to be all right in the end. And I don't think you can take that message on in one go. I think you've got to live it. So it's about trust.
Yeah, I've often said many times in addresses, and probably will say again on Sunday, that being a Christian and following Jesus is not easy.
No.
You know, if you literally take as it's meant to be done, it isn't easy.
No, it's not. But I guess there's that undergirding. I mean, the message is always that I'll be with you to the end of the age.
Yep.
You know,
absolutely.
I guess when it is tough, that's what you've got to hold on to, that you're not being abandoned. It feels like Jesus is being abandoned. And I guess that's what Peter is upset about.
Yeah.
And Peter is quite, you do feel sorry for him because he's being very human, isn't he? And yeah. Oh dear. So I mean, it'd be interesting to know what you are going to say, but I think it is a tough one, a very tough one.
I shall work. It'll be worked out. It's partly worked out already,
Yeah.
and it'll be there for Sunday. I always leave it to God to direct. There's no point trying to be super cool or whatever.
No.
It'll upset some people, and others will take it on board, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you might not take it on board straight away. I think it's a bit like what Jesus said to Peter. You don't take it on board straight away, but in retrospect, often you do. I think it is about the journey, isn't it? You can't take it all on board in any one moment. And I think Jesus knows that when he says that to Peter. I mean, there's a lot of looking back. Oh, remember when he said that? Oh, yeah, you know, I think, and I think that about my own life, you know, things that have happened, you know, you can't.
I mean, the real thing about it is, again, Peter's proving how human like us he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's really, you know, and there's nothing wrong with doubts or uncertainties, so long as you spend some time thinking or trying to think about them, put them into an order or a context of something. It is all right to doubt because we're not Jesus, we're not God.
No.
We are mere human beings.
Yeah, and it is about a relationship, and the relationship between Peter and Jesus is very helpful for us. I mean, you know, when you think about it, if we didn't have Peter and all the things that the disciples say and do that are a bit, you know, off the mark, they're very helpful to us to see that because we're doing the same thing, and you know, Jesus doesn't give up on them. he did give him the keys. We have to remember that. So
He gave them him last week.
yeah, so
Yeah. Perhaps it's the keys that are the stumbling block. It's too much of a responsibility. I don't know.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It certainly hasn't gone to his head because he still remains human. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, there we are. Dear viewer, I don't know whether that's helped at all. If nothing else, we've proved just how fallible we are and how uncertain we can be, and we've lived and survived so far.
Yeah. We'll keep stumbling forward.
But be honest. I think what God asks is that we be honest with where we are.
Yeah.
And work on it. So there we are. That's good. So you've got something on today. You've got to go out. I understand.
Yes, I'm going to dodge the rain in a minute. What about you, David?
I've got a funeral in the cemetery, which involves going to the cemetery.
Oh, you will be getting wet probably too.
I'm going to get wet. I know.
Yeah.
I've got very, very wet over the years in Beaminster Cemetery. You believe me?
Yes, I can imagine. Yeah.
There's not much else you can say. It's pretty wet. So yes, I've got a funeral for Brian, who lived in Beaminster. So that could be good.
Yeah.
And then what? I need to go to Crewkin at some point to get some more anti-inflammatory cream for my arthritic knee.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Poorly, don't worry. It's only arthritis. As
Wow.
my mother said, it could have been worse. It could have been full rightus.
Oh, oh gosh.
Oh, she was to the point. I tell you.
Oh, and is Chris in a sunny place? I wonder. Has he gone to?
I can't. Yes, he's gone to.
Has he gone to France?
No, he hasn't. Has he gone to Crete or somewhere?
Oh, he has. Yeah.
Crete or somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh well. He will be in the sun.
He will be. Well, I did look on my phone. The place where we're going in a few weeks' time. I think at the moment, if I remember correctly, it's unbroken sun. I can get the Met Office to obey my command.
Wow.
Where are we? Here we are. Oh no. Here we are. Yes, here we are. At the moment, at this precise moment in time, it's 29 degrees on unbroken sun.
Oh my word.
And then later today, it gets up to 32 degrees.
Oh, don't make me so jealous.
Oh, no. It did rain once while we were there last year, but it dries very quickly because of the heat, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, well, you deserve it. That would be lovely.
We all deserve it. No, I don't deserve it any more than anybody else, but it'll be good to have a break. It's been a long time since Easter.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
And the cricket season finished. I umpired my very last game yesterday for the season. That was at Beaminster. Actually, first game I've umpired this year in Beaminster. It's with a county under-12s game. They're always good fun, the youngsters, because they're full of rubbish, really.
Vim and verve.
Well, they've been watching their older siblings slag each other off, so they think it's part of the game. So you get all kinds of, and if I hear them much, I've heard them over the years, time and time again. Send the Bales to Wales and all these kinds of stuff. You keep hearing it, it comes out. But it was good fun. But Devon beat Dorset in the end, so
shame.
Always okay.
Yeah.
So that was done, all over and finished. Got a few weddings to prepare for over the next few weeks before and after when I come back off holiday.
Yeah. And next week, is it
Yumi and Joe? I think, isn't it?
Oh, it's Yumi. Is Joe returning?
I'm sure I saw on Mr. Grass.
Oh well, that will be in safe hands then. That'll be good.
Well, yes, if you're watching this at all today, then Debs has worked out how to send what we've done to Harry to put onto the to edit.
And that isn't a foregone conclusion, is it? So if you never see this, it's because I failed.
No, you won't have failed because they won't have known, because they won't have seen it. So you'll be okay. Don't worry. So we hope that I'm sure that between Debs and Harry, it'll be seen. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know what happens when you switch the recording off, whether it just automatically.
All right. Well, I'm going to let's say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see what
Oh,
happens. Well, we'll
yeah.
see you next week, hopefully, everyone.
We will. Hopefully, Joe will make a rare appearance back on the scene.
Yeah.
We wait to be
Yes,
seen. Otherwise, Debs, it's you and the
I know.
button.
Well, we did want to have some guests, and now we can have an old stalwart, can't we?
Well, we did have a guest earlier. She was sat on your lap. I could see her.
Oh yeah, Polly. Yeah, she was muscling in. Yeah, she was.
Polly was there. You're very good at getting guests. We had the famous Matt. He was
Yes.
there. Now we've had
Okay.
now we've had Polly. So who
Yeah.
knows?
So, yeah, we'll have a
Right
return.
now.
All right.
See you soon. Bye now.
Bye.
Oh yeah, I have to say, hang on. If you don't know and you're just finding us, well, we're all over the place on YouTube
In every way.
and the Colmers to Egerton team and the Bridport team and Beaminster team and all the usual things. I'm sure Harry will put them underneath at some point at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if you've liked it, then yeah, we've done good. If you don't like it, it's because Chris wasn't here and we'll blame him.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye now.